What's happening, Rangers family? Welcome back to another Rangers update, where we dive deep into everything surrounding our beloved club. We know how much passion this fan base carries, and that's exactly why we're here, to talk about what really matters inside IBROX and beyond. The blue blood runs strong, and even when things aren't going our way, there's always something to analyze, to understand, and to believe in. Today, there's plenty to unpack, from on-field struggles to glimpses of hope for the future under Danny Roll's fresh leadership. So, let's get right into it. Let's start with the name on everyone's lips lately, Youssef Chermatai. When the young Portuguese striker arrived from Everton for a hefty fee, expectations were sky-high. He was supposed to be the new face of the Rangers' attack, a symbol of the club's ambition to push forward both domestically and in Europe. Yet, a few months on, things haven't exactly gone to plan. Goals have been hard to come by, confidence looks fragile, and fans are starting to wonder what's gone wrong. Is it pressure? Is it adaptation? Or is it simply part of the growing pains every young player faces in a new environment like IBROX, where expectation weighs heavier than anywhere else in Scotland? Barry Ferguson, who knows a thing or two about what it means to wear this badge, shared his thoughts recently. He said what many have quietly been thinking. The weight of that £8 million transfer tag might be suffocating the lad. When a striker comes in with that kind of fee, supporters instantly expect fireworks. Every missed chance feels louder. Every misplaced touch carries more frustration. Ferguson even compared Chermatai's situation to that of Tor Andre Flo back in the day. Another talented forward whose time at IBROX was defined more by his price tag than by his actual contributions. And to be fair, Flo still managed nearly 30 goals in just over 50 games, something many forget when talking about failed transfers. But for Chermatai, it's different times, different pressures, and a new footballing world altogether. You can see it in his body language. Sometimes he plays like he's got the world on his shoulders, almost too desperate to prove himself. Other times, he overcomplicates things, trying to do too much when a simple finish would do. It's clear he's not short on ability. Anyone who watched him in England knows that. But confidence is everything for a striker. Once that fades, so does instinct. And at IBROX, you don't get much time to rediscover it before the spotlight starts to burn. Ferguson wasn't wrong to feel sympathy. The kid didn't ask Rangers to pay that fee. But the minute the deal was announced, that number became part of his identity. That's not his fault. Yet it's a burden he must carry every time he steps onto the pitch. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, things are shifting under the new management setup. The IBROX boss has been busy rebuilding not just the squad, but also the coaching structure. Sasha Lensar and Matthias Kaltenbach have joined as performance manager and assistant coach, adding a more modern, analytical layer to training. And there's word that another coach could soon arrive, someone with Scottish roots and ties to the club. Names like Stephen Davis, Lee Wallace, and Neil McCann have all been floated, though nothing is confirmed. McCann, who spoke recently during the Premier Sports broadcast of the semi-final against Celtic, was quick to dismiss the talk. He said he'd heard the rumors, but hadn't had any discussions with the club. Still, the fact that these names are being mentioned shows the direction of thinking, reconnecting the team with its core Scottish identity while embracing the tactical ideas of a modern European coach. Speaking of that semi-final, let's talk about the heartbreaker against Celtic at Hampton. A match that could have been a defining moment for Roll's early tenure turned into a lesson in composure and missed opportunities. A James Tavernier penalty took the tie to extra time, but the 10 men of Rangers couldn't hold out, and Celtic snatched the victory late on. Painful doesn't begin to describe it. To make matters worse, the game felt winnable. Celtic were far from their best, operating under an interim boss and struggling to find rhythm. Yet Rangers let the moment slip. The red card to Theo Asgard changed everything, but even then, chances came and went. Chermatai missed a golden one. Nico Raskin came close. JD Gaysima could have been the hero. But football is cruel that way. If you don't take your moments, someone else will. After the final whistle, you could see the disappointment etched on every face. Roll, despite his calm exterior, knows exactly what that defeat means. Yet there's also a sense of perspective. You don't transform a club overnight. You don't shift a mentality that quickly, especially after a turbulent start to the season. Max Aarons, who's quickly becoming one of the vocal leaders in this new look squad, spoke passionately after the game. He said he was hurt by the result, as everyone was, but he also sees something changing inside the dressing room. According to Aarons, the manager has brought intensity, clarity, and togetherness. Training sessions have a different energy now. Players know exactly what's expected of them both on and off the ball. And though Sunday's result stings, there's belief that the process is working. Aarons even went as far as to say that the group feels more streetwise under Roll. That's a telling word choice. Rangers in recent years have been guilty of naivety in big matches, switching off in key moments, failing to manage games when leading. Roll seems intent on changing that. His football philosophy blends German precision with Scottish grit, and that's exactly what the club needs right now. You could see flashes of it against Celtic. The high press, the structured transitions, the commitment to playing through the lines, even under pressure. Those are building blocks of something promising. It just needs time and a bit of fortune to turn performances into consistent results. Now, the focus shifts quickly, as it always does in football. There's no time to dwell when the Europa League looms on the horizon. Roma are coming to town, and while qualification hopes have faded after defeats to GKR and SK Brann, the night still matters. IBROX under the lights, European anthem echoing through the stands. Those moments always matter. It's about pride now. It's about showing that even when the chips are down, Rangers never fold. The fans deserve that. They've seen tough spells before and always stood by their team. That loyalty deserves a response on the pitch. For Roll, this period could define his early reign. He's already won supporters over with his honesty and tactical nous, but now he needs results to match the vision. The league fixture against Dundee that follows might not sound glamorous, but it's the kind of game that shapes momentum. Every point counts. Every win builds belief. And for a squad still finding its rhythm, these upcoming fixtures will test both character and commitment. There's no shortage of talent. It's all about harnessing it properly, turning promise into purpose. When Max Aarons said he feels a real change under the new boss, you could sense he meant it. He talked about the calmness Roll brings, the way he communicates, and how that's already influencing the team dynamic. Calmness might not sound exciting to fans craving trophies, but in football, calm brings clarity. It allows players to express themselves without fear. It builds trust. And for a club like Rangers, which has lived through so much emotional turbulence, that's a priceless quality. The supporters, as always, are the heartbeat. They can sense when something's genuine. The applause after the semi-final wasn't for the result. It was for the fight, the commitment, the signs of something new beginning. Yes, it hurts to lose, especially to Celtic, but what matters now is the response. The road ahead is long, and the expectations will never ease, but the foundations of a new era might just be forming before our eyes. Right then, Rangers supporters, let's keep the conversation going because this story is far from over. There's a lot to unpack as we move forward into what could be one of the most important stretches of the season. The defeat at Hampden still lingers in everyone's mind. But the truth is that setbacks like that can either break a team or build one. The response over the next few weeks will tell us everything we need to know about the mentality Danny Roll is instilling at IBROX. You could sense after that game that the players were hurting, not just frustrated, but genuinely disappointed that they'd let such a big moment slip away. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That level of frustration means they care, they feel the weight of the badge, and they know what this club demands every single time they step on the pitch. Roll's message since arriving has been clear: intensity, discipline, and togetherness. These aren't just buzzwords for him. They're principles that show in the way he trains the squad. You can see small changes already. The pressing is more coordinated, the defensive shape looks tighter, and players seem more accountable for their roles. Training sessions have been described as detailed and demanding, but also energizing. The German coach's influence is spreading through the club, and slowly, you can feel a shift in mentality. There's a professionalism that perhaps was missing before, and while the results haven't fully reflected it yet, the foundations are there. Max Aarons, who continues to impress both on and off the field, said something quite telling after the Celtic match. He mentioned that Roll has brought calmness to the group. That might sound simple, but in football, calmness often separates success from chaos. When a manager keeps his composure, it spreads. It gives players permission to play with clarity, even when the noise around them grows louder. Aarons also pointed out that the training ground atmosphere has changed, with a sense of unity that's been building steadily. You can tell the lads are buying into what the manager wants to achieve, and that's a powerful thing when you're trying to rebuild confidence after a turbulent run. Now, speaking of confidence, Youssef Chermatai's situation continues to dominate the discussion. It's impossible to ignore because strikers live and die by their goals, and when they don't come, scrutiny follows. But let's be honest, Rangers fans have seen this movie before. Young talents arriving with big expectations often take time to adapt to the relentless pressure that comes with playing for a club of this magnitude. It's a completely different atmosphere, completely different culture. Every touch, every chance, every decision is magnified. And when you're wearing the number 9 at IBROX, patience is in short supply. But maybe that's what Chermatai needs most, a bit of time, a bit of understanding. As Barry Ferguson said, he didn't choose the transfer fee. What he can choose is how he responds to the challenge, and that response might define his Rangers career. The manager has been careful with how he speaks about him publicly, and that's smart. Roll knows confidence is fragile. He's been supportive in training, encouraging Chermatai to focus on movement, positioning, and sharpness in the box rather than overthinking his finishing. Sometimes it takes just one goal to flip the entire narrative. One clean strike, one roar from the crowd, and suddenly the weight lifts. It's happened before with players who looked lost, and it can happen again. The fans want to see effort, commitment, and signs of improvement. The rest tends to follow. And while we're on the topic of improvement, let's not forget about the new structure behind the scenes. Sasha Linsar and Matthias Kaltenbach have brought a new level of analysis and modern coaching to the setup. They're working closely with Roll to integrate data-driven insights with traditional Scottish football instincts. The goal is simple: to make Rangers sharper, fitter, and more tactically adaptable. The rumor of a potential addition from within the club's history, maybe a figure like Stephen Davis or Lee Wallace, shows a desire to blend that continental precision with local identity. It's a smart balance, modern methods anchored by people who understand what the Rangers badge truly means. Of course, the focus now shifts to Europe and domestic recovery. The Europa League campaign hasn't gone to plan, with defeats to GKR and SK Brann effectively ending progression hopes, but there's still pride to play for. Roma's visit under the lights should remind everyone what this club is about: passion, history, and defiance. European nights at IBROX have their own magic, even when the odds are stacked against us. Roll knows this could be a turning point in how supporters perceive his tenure. A positive performance against a heavyweight opponent, regardless of the result, could reignite the belief that's been flickering since his arrival. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Glasgow's blue half is buzzing tonight after a flurry of whispers turned into what looks to be a full-blown signing coup. Dutch hitman LUUK de Jong has reportedly touched down in Glasgow, with several fans claiming to have spotted the tall forward stepping out of a black SUV at IBROX late last night. If true, this would be one of the boldest moves of the season for Rangers, a statement of intent from a club eager to reclaim domestic dominance and make a serious dent in Europe. De Jong, 35, isn't exactly an unknown quantity. The towering striker has built a reputation as one of Europe's most reliable goal machines, with spells at PSV, Sevilla, and Barcelona on his glittering resume. His physical presence, aerial prowess, and old-fashioned striker instincts could be exactly what Rangers have been missing since the departure of Alfredo Morelos. Sources close to the deal suggest the Dutchman has signed on a one-year contract with an option for a second. And here's the headline: he's promised to deliver 25 goals before the season's end. The move has sent fans into a frenzy on social media. Some are calling it a masterstroke. Others are raising eyebrows at his age and the physical demands of Scottish football. Still, if there's one thing De Jong has never lacked, it's confidence. "I know what I can bring," he reportedly told a local journalist at Glasgow Airport. 25 goals. That's my target, and I'll do everything to make it happen. Inside IBROX, the mood is electric. The board has been under pressure after a patchy start to the campaign, and this signing could reignite belief in the stands. Whether it's a short-lived rumor or the dawn of a new hero in blue, one thing's certain: the city's talking, and every eye will be on IBROX this weekend. The question now is simple. Can LUUK de Jong make good on his promise and become the new king of Glasgow's front line? Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.